Okay, so I'm with Bonnie, who's just finished her plenary, and I'm going to ask her about Suggestopedia. I think you studied with the Dr. Lozanov, he was Bulgarian, yeah?
He was Bulgarian. He was basically a psychologist, and he was interested in stress, what keeps people from learning better, and his premise was that it was basically one of the most stressful things that you could do, and especially learning a foreign language. So he set out to see how he could find a way to teach a language without this undue stress. And he tried lots of different things, and he finally came up with Suggestopedia, which just means teaching with lots of positive suggestions. So his premise was that everything that goes on in the classroom is a suggestion. The atmosphere in the classroom, the way the teacher's dressed, the way the teacher talks and relates to the students. We, for example, use a lot of music and art in the class.
And you experienced this, so you were one of his students?
I trained with him on 3 occasions, and for 9 years I worked in Geneva with what we call migrant people or newcomers and job seekers, and I used Suggestopedia because most of them were wounded learners. They had not been successful learners, and somebody was talking about English for taxi drivers. Actually, that's what I did, was I taught English to people who were going to be taxi drivers and servers and shopkeepers, and it was impossible to get a job without English. So the state paid for them to have English lessons.
Great. And what are your personal feelings about Dr. Lysonov? He died recently, and so were you affected by that?
Sure, I was affected by it. But I have to say he was not an easy person. He could be very vindictive. He had a very hard time in Bulgaria. He tried to defect, actually. He tried to leave to go to the United States, and he was caught at the frontier. He had a little umbrella stamped on his arm as a warning if he ever tried it again, he would die. And he became very distrustful. He could be very vindictive. He could, and also the world moved on, and things came in like multiple intelligence and NLP and student-based learning and humanistic learning. And somehow Lozanov never really was able to accept that other people were doing these things now. Maybe he was the first to do them, maybe not, I'm not sure. But he was never really able, he was never very open to what other people were doing. He remained very closed. It was his way to do it, and either you did it his way or you didn't do it.
Right.
So he could be very, very difficult. But he was, I actually had him as a student on a couple of occasions as a learner, and he was absolutely delightful. He was like a little kid. He would sort of giggle, so I could see both sides of him.
Oh, that's very interesting. Thank you very much, Bonnie.
Okay.
That's great.